Right, and the top focus in our show, as I mentioned, this is about Bollywood's Brahmastra in the box office. Now, Bollywood finally seems to be seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. Remember, this comes in on the back of a string of flops that the industry has seen recently. In fact, it's primarily, largely because of the movies from down south that we have seen the cash registers ringing at the theatres. But all the late high-profile movies that Bollywood has released have, in fact, flopped miserably. Now, Brahmastra, in the first couple of days, at least the first weekend that we're looking at here, has in fact raked in 76 crores worldwide. It's official. It's on its way to being officially declared a hit. And that gives some hope to the industry, which was badly hoping for a revival with this one. In fact, I'm joined on the discussion by Mr. Komal Nehta, film trade analyst, and Hemant Panchamia, MD of E Square Cinemas. Mr. Hemant Panchamia, coming to you first, as a theatre owner, are you heaving a sigh of relief in the sense that, of course, the South movies were there, which were doing well, but, with Bollywood, looking at a revival with this particular movie, are you hopeful now that things would actually change officially with, Brahmastra being the first of many?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Yes, my personal view is that I've been associated with the industry in production, distribution, exhibition for over 35 years. It is a great sigh of relief that, Brahmastra has clicked and clicked in a big way. I've been watching a lot of talk shows, from yesterday, which have been actually drubbing this film down, which is totally untrue. Most of the facts reported are wrong. And of course, as an exhibitor, we are extremely happy that, Bollywood content has brought back the audience back to the cinemas. And the film is very well accepted by the audience. It is, I would say, not even 1% rejection of people who have paid for the high-priced tickets for Brahmastra.
Right. Yes, I mean, there was, of course, a bit of controversy also about Boycott Brahmastra, trending at some point. But now what we can, in fact, see, as you mentioned, that the audience seems to be loving it for the moment, with at least going by the first few days of collection, first couple of days of collection. If I can bring in Mr. Komal Nehta for more on this. Sir, you would be the right person actually to talk about this. Can we say Brahmastra is officially a hit?
Oh, yes, of course it is. Undoubtedly it is. And although there are a couple of television channels trying very hard to prove that it's a flop, and the sad part is that some industry people are involved along with the satellite channel in proving that the film is a flop. I just don't know what's their gain, probably ulterior motives.
Right. I mean, going on with that, Mr. Nehta, also, as I was talking to Mr. Panchamia also about this, this, of course, was a blockbuster which Bollywood was really looking forward to. I mean, the fact that it's turned around fine for the filmmakers as well as, of course, the industry. There's so much hope which is riding on this particular movie. What kind of, I'm sure you're talking to the industry insiders over the past couple of days since the box office numbers came out for Brahmastra. What kind of buzz are you picking up? What are they saying?
See, I'll tell you, the industry seems to be a little divided. There are some people who are anti-Karan Johar, anti-big films, anti-success, actually. So they are the only ones who are bad-mouthing the film. Otherwise, people who understand the trade, people like Hemant Panchamia, he's sitting right there. He owns cinemas and he can see the crowds. According to me, the people who are watching the film and the trade people who understand business are only singing praises for the film because it has actually pulled the industry out of its bad times. It was such a bad run. And the sad part is that these very people used to tell me, oh, I wish there is a successful film. Bollywood ka bura daur hai, acha time aana chahiye. And the moment this acha time came, they were the first one who crossed the line and started bad-mouthing the film as well as the collections. I mean, you can't negate the collections. The collections, if a film collects 100 rupees, it's the same 100 rupees for you, for me. There is no subjectivity involved. But somehow, by twisting facts, they're trying to bring in subjectivity.
Right, Mr. Panchamia, what does this do for you? You know, you are directly, of course, besides the filmmakers, the theatres also were looking forward to this. You know, had you already planned that the distribution of this movie should be in multiple multiplexes and theatres, or was it limited now and finally, since it's worked out, you're going to expand on it? Were you being a little cautious initially and now you can finally relax and probably expand further?
The entire exhibition industry was very bullish on this film. Okay, see, we get the buzz from the patrons that come to us. Everybody was looking forward. Boycott propaganda is being proved wrong, according to me. You know, so I think this boycott propaganda is very personal, done by certain people with vested interest. Public doesn't care. Public loved the film from morning 7:30, 8 o'clock show onwards. It was houseful. Most of the places. It just goes to say, all this negative publicity and all, at the end of the day, it's the patrons. They understand what they want to see. Boycott or no boycott, they'll see what they want to see.
Right, Mr. Netta, if I can come back to you, what does this do for the industry? You know, the industry had in fact seen a string of flops recently. You know, lots of high-profile movies which did not work out well. What is Brahmastra going to do now for producers, for filmmakers who were probably thinking twice before investing in a blockbuster, let's say? Probably the smaller metroplex movies, as they call it, were turning out to be fine. But, you know, big movies, big budget Bollywood movies were probably scaring a few people. So what does it do for the industry now?
One, it has brought back the confidence of the industry people, not just in big films, but in cinema, generally speaking, because people have started doubting whether our writers, directors, all of them had forgotten to make films. This has proven that they're not forgotten to make films, that good content will come. Secondly, this is new age cinema. It doesn't have the commercial ingredients of Rona Dhona, comedy, but because it has visual effects on such a grand scale, and congratulations to D-Neg and Redefine for that, because it has special effects and visual effects of the kind never before seen. I think people have to get used to the fact that now films can work well without some staple ingredients which we have been used to for the last 100 years. This film was shot on comedy, it was shot on emotions, but yet it worked because the visual effects more than made up for the shortfall of those things. So I think people need to really recalibrate themselves when they are assessing films. That is also one reason why 99% of the reviewers and so-called trade analysts went wrong in their assessment, because they formed their opinion based on the template of reviews. You know, this is less, this is lacking, there is no proper story, everything is proper. And if this same film were to be made by Hollywood, they would have started singing its praises. That's the complex reviewers suffer from.
Right. I'll have to wrap up the discussion at this point. But my last question, or last comment rather, from both of you, can we say Brahmastra is the turning point that Bollywood was waiting for at the box office? Can we say it? Mr. Panchamia first, and then I'll come to Mr. Netta.
Of course, it's been a big turning point for us exhibitors as of now. It has revived our, fortunes, which were absolutely down from the last 3 months. Yes, of course, it's a turning point, and it is a hit for sure.
Right, Mr. Netta?
Yes, I agree with Hemant Panchamia. I'll only add one more thing. It is the revival of Bollywood, and it is the death knell for the Boycott Bollywood Brigade. I just wish Mirror now stops talking about this brigade, because it has already been buried.
Right. We actually only cover news at this point in time. We are not supporting any brigade for that moment. But thank you to both our guests, Mr. Komal Nahta and Hemant Panchamia. Thank you so much for joining us for this show.
Thank you. Thank you.